Well, welcome to Christ and Culture. This is Pastor Jeff Short, your Bible teacher and cultural analyst. And today we're going to be looking at the book by Hugh Ross, the Christian apologist and astronomer Hugh Ross, who's written a lot of books. I've read quite a few of his books. I've heard him speak at a church, and I've seen him on television, on the internet. I've listened to podcasts. He is all over the place, and he is one of the leading scientists in the, you might say, evangelical world that is addressing issues of the cosmos and the planet Earth and all of the science behind it. So this book is very interesting. It is somewhat controversial in the sense that it deals with science, modern science, and it also basically assumes the credibility of most of mainstream science concerning the cosmos, which is kind of improbable from a Christian viewpoint because of the assumptions that are made to explain the universe. Here's the book. I listened to the audio version of this book on Audible. It's called Improbable Planet: How the Earth Became Humanity's Home. And so, first of all, let me read the little blurb here, and then I'll see if it lived up to that with the audiobook. Most of us remember the basics from science classes about the Earth, how the Earth came to be the only known planet that sustains complex life, or any life that we know of. But what most people don't know is that the more thoroughly researchers investigate the history of the planet, the more astonishing the story of our existence becomes. The number and complexity of the astronomical, geological, chemical, and biological features recognized as essential to human existence have expanded explosively within the past decade. An understanding of what is required to make possible a large human population and advanced civilizations has raised profound questions about life, our purpose, and our destiny. Are we really just the result of innumerable coincidences? That's the mainstream secular scientific viewpoint. Or is there a more reasonable explanation? Yes, there is. It's the Christian explanation. This fascinating book helps non-scientists understand the countless miracles that undergird the exquisitely fine-tuned planet we call home, as if someone had us in mind all along, which as Christians we know that is true, that God had us in mind all along. It's not a mystery for us, but this book is coming at it from a scientific viewpoint and trying to show people who are not, you might say, predisposed to believe in God, that God is a very necessary understanding to make sense of our human existence. So this book goes into a lot of detail. For example, it goes into the basic thesis is that the universe, the cosmos, our solar system, and our planet are all finely tuned for the existence of humanity, and that without everything being the way it is, we couldn't be here as we are on the planet Earth. And that's quite a provocative thesis, but he actually goes through and he talks about all of the different aspects of creation, and he talks about how our planet exists in a galaxy that exists next to other galaxies, and ours is a perfect galaxy for life on a planet, and how our solar system is just far away enough from the core of our galaxy and just far enough away from other galaxies so that we get the benefits of being where we are because we're not being bombarded constantly by objects from other galaxies and so forth. But we're close enough inside of it to benefit from all of the things that are necessary for life. And so he goes through and he basically builds the case for the what they call the anthropic principle. Which is our planet is perfectly situated for human life. And he goes from the great cosmos, the whole general setting, which is the cosmos. We are part of the cosmos. We are part of a galaxy, one among many galaxies. We are part of a solar system, one of many, many solar systems. And then he says we are part of a planet, the third planet from the sun. And all of these factors are important in our existence right now, how we can exist. Even the moon revolving around the planet Earth, that is important for our very existence, because without that moon, we wouldn't have the tidal waves action that we have that cleanse the oceans. We wouldn't have the stability of that smaller force of gravity from the moon stabilizing our rotation. And there are all kinds of factors. And the more you dig into, the more you realize that our planet is perfectly situated for human life. And that is a clue to the meaning of life and the purpose of the cosmos. That is a clue, because all of these improbable, quote, coincidences can't be just mere chance and happenstance. They have to come from an intelligent mind, because without an intelligent mind, all of these things would not work perfectly the way they work. And so that's basically the argument of the entire book. Now, the problem is, I think, one criticism could be leveled against the book, The Improbable Planet, is that, yes, you can agree, as a Christian, you can agree that our planet is perfectly suited for our existence because God created it that way. He had us in mind, and that would make sense. But the problem comes in when Hugh Ross basically assumes the mainstream secular explanation for how the cosmos and our galaxy and our solar system and our planet, how these came about. And Hugh Ross basically accepts, without much criticism, the secular evolutionary viewpoint of how things came to be. He basically assumes the validity of the Big Bang. That is that, between 14 and 15, 13, 14, 15 billion years ago, the Earth, not the Earth, but the cosmos was born out of a fiery bang, and it just spewed forth matter and energy all over, and that was the start of everything. And then out of that, galaxies coalesced, and then out of the galaxy and the gas and the atoms smashing apart and forming and coagulating together, you get galaxies, and then out of that you get stars, and out of that you get solar systems and planets, and out of that you get our solar system, and out of that you get our planet, and then you get human life from that. Now, there's a whole naturalistic, or you might say uniformitarian, understanding that mainstream secular science makes, that basically presupposes that everything happened in a naturalistic or materialistic way, and it happened that way everywhere. So you have the laws of nature acting upon the energy and the matter, and these are the sole accounting for everything that happened. So that's what mainstream secular scientists, they totally rule out any possibility of some kind of supernatural, miraculous intervention. That is basic assumption 101 in the secular scientific world today, the mainstream scientific worldview. And that is incompatible with Christianity, because Christianity has a revelation. It has a Bible. And the Bible reveals that God created the heavens and the earth. God created. And from the book of Genesis, we see that God did so with intention, and he did so in sequence. And it's not that he just exploded a big bang and had everything preloaded into that big bang, that everything would just work its way out naturally. No, the Bible doesn't describe that kind of a creation. The Bible describes a craftsman actually intervening and doing things. And so Hugh Ross, though, is assuming the validity of this long, billions and billions of years drawn out process that happens in a natural, non-supernatural way. And so that's a problem because, for example, when he explains the Earth and its location in respect to the other planets in our solar system, he'll bring in these theories, these scientific theories. They're guesses, they're highly educated guesses. Some of these highly educated guesses or theories do conform to all the known data. But again, who was there to see this, and who can actually put all the pieces together and try to make an explanation out of it and actually know that that's actually what happened? That's the problem. So you can get a theory going, it can fit the data, but does it mean that it actually took place that way? Even though you have the best guess, does it mean that that guess is actually accurate? And for example, in the formation of our moon, he will bring in all these theories about some object, some huge object smashed into the earth, billions and billions of years ago, and it spewed forth all kinds of material, and that material began to rotate through the force of gravity around the planet Earth, and then that material coalesced in the moon and began to form a sphere there, and then that is the formation of our moon. Well, maybe God did it that way, but maybe God didn't do it that way, because it's a theory. It's a theory that some scientists have come together and come up with, but maybe there's another theory that actually makes more sense than that theory. But when he's telling it, when Hugh Ross is telling this story of the cosmos, he is going through from A to Z. He's going through and saying, well, this is how our moon happened, and blah, blah, blah. He goes through the scientific sequence of this theory and says that's how we get our moon, and it's very important that we get our moon because it's essential for life on the planet Earth because of the tidal forces that the moon creates, and like I said before, the stabilizing effect of the gravity of the moon on the Earth's rotation, and so on and so forth. Okay, those are clearly scientific facts that we do need the moon to stabilize our rotation, and that we do need the moon to cleanse the ocean's water with the tidal effect that goes in and out and scrapes a lot of the debris onto the beaches, and so on and so forth. That is a fact that we do need the moon in that sense. And then there are all kinds of other senses that we need the moon too. But it is not a fact that the moon came about because a heavy object hit the Earth and all kinds of debris was thrown out into space, and that debris coalesced into what we now call the moon, and that's how we got our moon. No, that is not a fact. That is not a fact. It is also a fact that, for example, right now you can state that we are situated in a really great spot in our solar system, the optimal spot, the only spot that would sustain planet Earth life. We're not too close to the sun, like, say, a Mercury or a Venus. We're not too far away from the sun, like the other planets further than us. And that these huge gas giants like Jupiter and some of the others those are essential for life on planet Earth because they are there that can block debris from coming from outer space into our solar system. These gas giants would gravitationally pull all these objects that might threaten our existence on planet Earth. They pull them into the giant planets and away from the planet Earth. That is a fact. We know that. So when he's explaining those things, those known facts, those are definitely true. But when he starts to explain scientific theories on how the planets actually came about and formed, and the history of the cosmos, and how our solar system came about, and how our moon came about, our sun came about, those are speculations. And those should not be confused with the actual scientific facts. So you actually can do two things. One is, from a Christian viewpoint, is totally legitimate, and that is to state the factors that are essential for human life and how our planet provides these, and how our solar system provides these, with us being the third planet from the sun, and how our galaxy provides these, and how we are in a perfect spot to be able to observe the cosmos from our situation in our galaxy, and how our galaxy is far enough from the other galaxies that we don't get the gravitational interference that could come and ruin life on planet Earth, and so on and so forth. These are facts. But these other theories, these speculations that he comes up with, how, especially when he gets into how human beings came from other creatures. And again, he does rely a lot on the scientific secular models that this is how this happened and this is how this came about. So when he starts doing historical theology, historical science, I should say, that's when he gets into the questionable material. But when he just sticks to, as human beings, we have to have this much oxygen, this much water on the planet, and how our planet is situated just perfectly for sustaining life. So we have enough oxygen. We have just enough oxygen, not too much. There's too much oxygen, then our entire atmosphere could be set afire rather easily with all kinds of lightning strikes and all kinds of things like that. That would be too dangerous. If we didn't have enough oxygen, we wouldn't be able to power our bodies and our brains sufficiently, and so on and so forth. Those are very, very, I don't think, disputable statements. But when he starts to come into the historical process of how Earth got its oxygen and how Earth got its water, and saying things like, well, and space debris came in from outer space and bombarded the Earth with all kinds of water, essential water for us. That's the problem. That's the problem. So I do highly recommend the book, but I would say beware of these factors. He's mixing sometimes the speculative, scientific, historical guesses or theories with the actual factual scientific material. So I hope that's been helpful. We'll see you back next week on another edition of Christ and Culture. God bless.